The NBA is a high-stakes world. Every contract tells a story beyond dollars and cents. What if the secret to a game-changing career lay in the numbers behind the paycheck? Decoding a legacy where each season's performance not only illuminates individual brilliance, but also reveals if the investment was truly worth it. Today we dive into a season-by-season analysis of what brilliance is worth to a team. Let's unpack whether LeBron's paychecks were a bargain or a burden for his teams. The answer may surprise you. LeBron James isn't just a phenomenal talent, he's a case study in how performance meets payment. Across his storied career with 4 distinct eras over more than 20 seasons, his contracts have escalated dramatically. But when we break it down year by year, does the data show that each dollar spent was justified by his output? Here's the heart of our analysis. What numbers did he put up, how much was he paid, and how well did his team perform? By juxtaposing these numbers against his salary figures, we can answer the vital question: is LeBron a bargain or a burden? Each year tells a story. Notice how LeBron's early years are slightly less efficient, coinciding with his rookie deal and exploding during his second Cavs contract. His numbers stand on their own, but did he take up too much financial burden as the hometown hero in Cleveland? Well, possibly, because his Cavs were never able to lift the trophy, which eventually set up the controversial decision. When Bron took his talents to South Beach, he also brought a suitcase to fill with money. He still only broke 30% of the salary cap barrier in his final year in South Beach, while using all 4 years to produce some of his strongest teams and statistical seasons while cementing his legacy as a champion. Nobody but LeBron knows if it was nostalgia, dollar signs, or sadness over burnt jerseys that brought him back to the rock and roll city. What we can all see is that in 4 years of LeBron's career, his salary continued to bloom and his output stayed as consistent as ever. He was able to bring the elusive title to Cleveland only once in a 4-year stint of his prime. LeBron made his final stop and prepared for the definition of his legacy by riding off into Sunset Boulevard. His final era remains an abomination of consistency, but his paychecks start growing a little too large to not leave the decreasing accolades and team output in the shadows. From his rookie burst of energy to his seasoned strategic plays, these analyses reveal how performance metrics aligned with the financial stakes. Notice the difference between the seasons where his stats surged, suggesting that his pay was not only justified, but a game-changing investment for his team, and the seasons where he remained consistent, but it wasn't enough to lead his franchise to success. And there it is. The numbers don't lie. As dominant as LeBron James has been, the data tells a different story when it comes to his salary. In multiple seasons, his contract outpaced his statistical production. And when we compare his impact on team success to the dollars spent, one question becomes impossible to ignore. Was LeBron, at times, the most overpaid player in the NBA. We've seen franchises pay for potential, leadership, and even brand value, but in the cold calculation of wins, efficiency, and return on investment, there were years when LeBron's paycheck didn't match the results. Is he the king of basketball? 100%, absolutely. The king of NBA value? That's up for debate. So my question to you, was it worth it? Did LeBron's presence alone justify the cost, or did teams overspend for a superstar past his peak? Was he a financial burden in certain years, or was the intangibility of his leadership something no contract could truly measure? I want to hear from you. Hit the comments and tell us, was LeBron's contract justified, or was he one of the most overpaid stars of all time? And while we're at it, let's take this conversation forward. Because next up, we're looking at Luka Doncic. Will his career follow a similar financial arc, or is he poised to be one of the greatest investments in NBA history? Don't miss our next deep dive. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that like button if you love these breakdowns, and get ready, because Luka's story might just rewrite what we think we know about NBA contracts.